Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is David Beeson. I am your host for today's conversation, and my guest today is Rocco Calandruccio, the owner of Current EV Motors. We are going to be talking about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek of what it's really like to build and operate a business. Rocco, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here today. I would love for you
Yeah,
to give us a little bit of background of who you are and tell us a little bit about your business as well.
sure. Yeah. Thanks, David. Thanks for having me on your show. Again, Rocco Calandruccio is my name. Bit of a car nut, always been into cars. I went through training in industrial design before I started this company. So worked in a lot of different industries, making different kinds of products, but always felt like there was an opportunity to do better things in the auto industry. And so this company is based off of a napkin sketch that I had before COVID. It was quite a few years ago, and then we followed that idea, got many patents, and now we've got several systems that are in production. Basically, all around the idea of repurposing cars, making sure that we don't keep throwing these things away.
Yeah, that's super cool. So basically, whenever you say like repurposing cars, you're talking like cars that have been like totaled or cars that are just kind of like towards the tail end of their life.
Yeah, I mean, as you may know, that cars these days, or modern cars, are designed to fail. They have about a 5 to 8 year lifespan before the engine or transmission goes out. And so the expectation from the auto industry is that you will go back to the car dealership and you will finance another vehicle. So it's this constant state of debt that we're all stuck in. And from an engineering perspective, given modern technology, that is not necessary. And so what we do is we offer powertrain systems that allow you to take the old gasoline motor and fuel systems out of the vehicle and replace that with a fully electric system, thereby future-proofing your vehicle. So that's the essence of it. We've got two markets, fleet markets as well as vintage markets for now, but it's growing.
Wow, that's super cool. I never actually thought about it like that with the auto industry, but it makes a lot of sense that there's no reason why I need to go trade in my car every 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you've spent time around a car, what you begin to understand very quickly is that there's thousands and thousands of parts involved in the construction of that car. And most of those parts are in your engine and transmission. It's around 2,000 moving parts that are working in synchronous to make you move your vehicle across the road. That's antiquated technology, very antiquated technology, actually. And modern electric technology is much more advanced. You have about 20 moving parts in a modern electric vehicle versus the 2000. So you can understand very quickly how those vehicles can last a lot longer potentially.
Yeah, no, definitely makes sense. Yeah, I since you're in the Austin area, I might drive my car over there and
Come on
see if we can
over.
get
Come
some
on
work
over to our
done on
shop. Come see what we're
it.
up to.
Yeah. Going into more of like the business structure and stuff. Generally speaking, what is your current ownership structure like? Are you the sole founder and owner? Do you have a partner or outside investors?
Yeah, I founded this company by myself. We did have a co-founder originally who has now become more of an advisor. We do have some investors as well. And we've got, I guess, a couple other advisors as well. But really, yeah, it's company's on the smaller side, and we've been scaling, I guess you could say, somewhat organically through a combination of, revenue and from an investor perspective, it's kind of a lower level investment type stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, generally speaking, what is your current role in the business like? Like, what's your day to day like?
Yeah, wear a lot of hats. Obviously, I'm the CEO, so everything sort of flows through me. But as a industrial designer, I'm pretty heavily involved in all the design decisions about the things that we are creating and making. Got a really talented team of engineers that we work collaboratively with, both electrical and mechanical, on certain things. But that's my favorite part of it is creating the things. I'm a builder creator myself. And it's directly connected with every element of the business. If we're not making great products, nothing else matters. So that's very critical in our business. I've found through my experiences that as you create new products and new products are successful, those products can sell themselves. It requires a lot less bandwidth on the sales side if you just invest time, energy, and effort at the very beginning to create excellent products.
Gotcha. Makes sense. When you look at your role, how many hours do you spend working in your business, so the job itself, and how many on the business, like strategy planning?
Strategy and planning. I don't sit around and strategize and plan a whole lot. We make things and we design things based on need. There is a lot of planning that goes on in my head, I would say. And with advisors, we talk a lot, but there's not a lot of allocated hours in the week to just planning. You know, we are very involved in and around vehicles, in CAD, creating solutions. So it's a very hands-on business. I would say.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, this is kind of a fun question that I always like to ask. If I were to give you an extra 10 hours back each week, how would you invest those hours? Would it be in the business? Would it be personal life, family time?
Yeah, family time.
Family time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I spend a lot of time with the business, but I hope that over time, less and less of my personal time is spent with the business and more of it, you know, with family.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just my personal priority.
Yeah. No, it makes total sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So why'd you choose to go into business for yourself as opposed to maybe trying to work for someone else? What was the transition like for you?
Well, I worked for about 20 years in the I guess corporate world, I guess you could say it that way, where I worked for somebody else as an industrial designer. Um, the companies I worked for were not huge companies. They were kind of small to medium-sized companies. And so I took on the role of the design guy. And so my role was coming up with what was next. And so there was always blending between engineering, design, marketing, and even some sales. You know, I was always kind of that person that was coming up with the next thing. But in those roles, I realized pretty quickly that I was sort of being put in a box and being, you know, meant to do that one thing, and never really saw the fruits of my labor as it was equivalent to the revenue that those companies were generating based off of my ideas. They like to give you a number in terms of salary, and they want to keep you at that number, regardless of how much money your ideas generate. And so it was very discouraging working in that kind of environment without any incentive whatsoever to grow my personal, professional work. And so it just became logical that this was the next step. You know, it was like, well, the only way for me to really grow my profession, grow myself, and really meet a demand that's not out there yet was to start my own company.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
So as you look back on your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle you were challenged with that you had to overcome?
Um, with the business, would you
Yeah.
say? Is that the
Yeah,
question?
with the
With the
business.
business, memorable roadblock. There are roadblocks every day. That is the role of the CEO, is to overcome roadblocks. You have to act quickly and decisively. The worst thing you can do is not act. And so I'm trying to identify, as I'm talking, what is one roadblock that we had to overcome. Um, a significant roadblock with this industry is getting parts moved from different places on the planet to one location where you can do the work. And so supply chain is a constant theme. And I think it's getting better. And as our partnerships have grown with certain other companies, it's alleviated that issue. But that is a constant theme, I would say, and a pressing one always for my business.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
So I know that we talked a little bit about like what the business does, but if I were in the audience and I was looking to get something fixed for my car, how would I know if your shop would be a good fit for my product or service?
So if you were interested in converting your car from gasoline to electric, is that what you're asking? How would you decide if our shop was the right one for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I did want to kind of differentiate what we're doing from others in the industry. So the industry itself is composed of a lot of really great, talented people that have shops that are doing EV conversions. And we see those individuals and those companies as potential customers for our solutions. Our solution is the product or the powertrain that goes into those cars. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to create these solutions that support other people that those in the audience might perceive as our competitors. And we don't see them that way. We see them as customers for us. We do conversions in our house per chassis, meaning if you have, let's say you've got a Scout, International Scout that you love and you want it to be electric, and we haven't done a Scout yet. We'll take that in and we'll do the conversion, and then you've got a Scout. But the reason we did it was not to convert your Scout. The reason we did it was to create a product that we could sell to other people that supports their businesses, allows them to do Scout conversions. So I know that was
Gotcha.
kind of around the way to answer your question, but hopefully that got us somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm curious what kind of different marketing strategies that you're using.
Yeah, different marketing strategies. We've seen three different things that are working right now. Firstly, regular social media activity is working as long as we keep up maybe 2 or 3 days a week, having some kind of meaningful, well-designed post. Keeps us relevant within channels and people that we're in touch with. Secondly, video presence. We're trying to build our YouTube channel. We've been partnering with different groups, cinematographers, people that do videos. We have cars that are interesting to look at and interesting stories to tell. And so we found those to be pretty compelling and have really drawn people to us. Also publications, staying in touch with people that write for certain magazines, keeping them informed as to updates with our company. They're always looking for content. We're always looking to get our information out there. And so this has all been very meaningful and free. You don't have to hire a marketing firm, and it's very, very effective. So no, we've really done well with that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what kind of approach you have to tracking your leads. Do y'all have like a CRM that you prefer, or do y'all just kind of have a phone type thing where y'all call, or
We have a Google Doc that we
Google Doc?
use.
Nice.
And it is linked to our website, and we have forms on our website. And when people are interested in contacting us, they fill out a form. It goes through our website onto this Google Doc, generates an email to several people in our company. Somebody takes it, and we start an email exchange that turns into a phone or video exchange, and then that's how we generate leads that way. And it's worked pretty well so far. We've looked at some of the CRM systems, and they just have too much stuff in them, that we don't need. And so until we're big enough where we might need that, then we're pretty content with the system we have right now.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So I know that you said that you guys have a decent sized team. I'm curious, how many team members do y'all have?
It's kind of a mix of full-time and part-time folks, and it depends on the workload. And so any given day, there's 2 or 3 of us in the shop, and then we might bring in a couple more. Plus we have overseas partners that we're working with, and they've got a full team of like 20 or 30 engineers working on some of these battery systems. And so it's not a traditional company as people might want to imagine. Everybody's sort of sitting under one roof doing a thing. We are partnering and moving in a very nimble way, flexing based on market demand and flexing on daily activity as well. And we've done well with that because it doesn't make us really dependent on a singular monthly thing. It's like we can really be flexible as time passes.
Gotcha. Yeah. How would you describe your leadership style in business? Has it changed over the years?
I wouldn't say it's changed a whole lot. I'm a very transparent person, and that has not always worked to my advantage, but I have noticed that what it has done is it's drawn people to me that are similar in personality. And the people that I work with are also very transparent, also very forthcoming. I think that it's made for a nice working environment. We all enjoy
Yeah.
our time with one another. We're all very open with what we're doing, not only at work, but with our personal lives. And it has sort of a family kind of environment. I worked in other environments where there was a strict division between what we did at work and who you were outside of work, and there was no conversation about that, and it made for very difficult working environment. From my perspective, it felt very impersonal, and so I think we're doing something that's really important here, and having those close relationships are really important to me as we move forward. So hasn't
Yeah,
really changed, you know.
yeah, a lot of the work that I do is very like gig based. So I'll go and work on a movie, or I'll go work on work for a client and be making a commercial, or,
Yeah.
filming cars and stuff like that. And, sometimes you walk into the environment and it's very welcoming and everyone's like down to chat and it's a good
Mhm.
time. And then sometimes you
Mhm.
walk into the environment and you're around a lot of assholes. So being honest, and
Right.
it's hard to enjoy work whenever you're dealing with
Yeah.
like people like
No,
that.
it's important. It's important. I mean, you think about it. You're with these people for 8 hours a day.
Hmm.
That's a good portion of your life, right? And so you want that to be a positive influence on you. And so I would say that I just try to maintain that in
Yeah.
in our working environment here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very
Yeah.
commendable.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank you.
I'm curious, what type of training do you have in place for your team members?
Very one-on-one with me. Every time we do something new or we have somebody new that comes on, I walk them through basically everything that I know about the car that we're working on, the system that we're working on, um, how we talk to customers, how we interact through email conversations. Um, I try not to put that off on anybody else, because I've just found that the expectations get kind of diluted at that point. So we're not big enough where we need to have layers of training, staff and things like that. And so it's still very personal. It's still very much that way right
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
no, makes sense. So I'm curious, you ready to transition to a couple rapid fire questions?
love it. Yeah, hit me.
Awesome. What is the key to success for you?
Key to success for me is working hard and being honest.
What is
Yeah,
your one piece of advice for other business owners?
ask lots of questions. Don't talk so much. Listen more.
Yeah. What is a book or podcast you're reading or listening to right now?
Oh, the book I've enjoyed recently, it's a little on the nerdy side, but it's good. It's called Traction. It's by, what's his name? I can't remember the author's name, but it's about scaling a business based on metrics. And it's very organizational. It's about all these things that you need to put in place for your business to grow. And there's a lot of great stuff in there. I wouldn't say that I would ever implement, it's called the EOS system, entrepreneurial organizational system. I don't think I would ever implement the whole thing in my company, but there's a lot of good Easter eggs, a lot of good tidbits in there, and it's a good read. So that's the one I would highly recommend. Anybody that's starting a business or is already involved in a business and looking to be more organized, to be more strategic. It's a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that question, I hope the audience loves it, but it's more of
Yeah.
a question for me because I'm 25 years old. I'm currently on my own entrepreneurial stuff with
Yeah.
my video marketing business. So I
Read
always,
it.
everyone that I ask, I'm like, what book should I read? Because that's for me.
Yeah.
I want to read them all.
Just get the audiobook and put
Yeah,
it in your car and listen to that thing when you're in there. And it's super nerdy, but you're gonna like it.
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So This is kind of a fun question that I always love to ask. If you had a little bit of magic dust and you could choose one spot in your business to sprinkle it and everything would be perfect, where would it be and why?
Magic dust. Um, right now, we just want more space. We need more space. We have a lot of vehicles that we're working on. We're in kind of a smaller space. And so, yeah, we need to grow. So if that sprinkle dust came in and boom, all of a sudden we had twice the space, that'd be some nice sprinkle dust.
Yeah.
Some magic dust. Yeah.
Uh, so before we get to the final question of the day, would you like to share with the audience how they can follow you on social media or contact you, a website?
Sure, yeah. We're at www.currentevmotors.com, and all of our social media and everything is through that website. We do have LinkedIn and we have Instagram. Um, I'm blanking on the handles for those. But yeah, if you go to the website, currentevmotors.com, it's all at the bottom there. You can go through that. If you want to email me directly, I'm Rocco at currentevmotors.com. And I'm always happy to schedule a call and connect with anybody personally.
Awesome. Well, we've come to the final question of the day, and that is what is most inspiring to you today?
Most inspiring to me today. Hmm. I'm inspired by my industry, actually, I would say. It's very inspirational because you have a lot of people that are working very hard, doing things that are very complicated and challenging. Um, and everybody's doing it at great risk. You know, there's no promises in our industry. It's very yeah, it's very risky. And so I'm inspired by the people that are working in our industry. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing to try to support those people in our industry as best we can, to provide systems that are higher quality, that give them better margins, that allow them to do the work they want to be doing, supporting their customers. So that question is tough to answer, but as I sit here and I work every day, that's kind of the reason I'm doing it, is to grow this industry.
Yeah, no, that's
So.
awesome. I love that. Well, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed hearing your story. So thank you for sharing. Also, I just want to encourage all of you watching to save this show and come back and watch it again because Rocco really did have some great insights for business.
Cool. Thank you, David. I appreciate the opportunity here.
Of course. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that way you get notifications every time a new conversation drops, just like this one. Thanks to everyone who joined us today, and a special thanks to you, Rocco, for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Yeah. I will see y'all all in the next episode.